Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Moore, and I'm joined here today with members of the Shumpert family to give you an update on the status of our investigation into the last moments of their dearly beloved Ronnie Shumpert's life. Eyewitnesses. And we have learned that Mr. Shumpert was hiding from the police, and that when he saw and heard the dog, he tried to voluntarily surrender and come from his hiding space. And as he was trying to get up from his hiding space, the dog lunged into him violently, ripping his groin apart. The witness tells us that after Shumpert reacted as any man would, trying to defend himself from a violent attack of a canine in his groin, no less, that the officer walks up and shoots this man, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times. 3 times to the chest and 1 time to the stomach, simply because he was trying to get out of the grips of that dog. You tell me how that's justified. You tell me how that's justified. The following are the family's demands, not requests, but demands. We are requesting that Tyler Cook, who committed murder on the streets of Tupelo, be immediately fired and charged with murder. He should not sit home and collect a paycheck on these taxpayers' dimes. He should be immediately fired and charged with murder on the state level and charged with a federal criminal civil rights violation. We are asking that the K-9 be immediately suspended from the police force and that he undergo an immediate temperament evaluation. We want to know, is it true that Tyler Cook had prior excessive force complaints just 2 months earlier? This is what I'm hearing. Admit it or not, city of Tupelo. How long has Mr. Tyler Cook been on the force? The family wants to know why there was a delay in medical treatment for Ronnie, even by the city's own admittance. And they released a timeline last night. If you take the passenger in the car's version of the story, he says he was shot within 5 minutes of him running. The city says it took about 10 minutes before the ambulance was ever called. Every moment is precious when someone is bleeding out from a gash so big you can put a baseball inside the gash. We want to know, and we want to know this week, why was the car initially stopped? What was the reason for the traffic stop? And we want Black lives to start mattering in this city. Right. We are demanding that the city of Tupelo take down the Mississippi Confederate flag. This week, we demand it. It has to come down because you are sending a message to your officers that Black lives don't matter. That a large contingency of this population do not matter enough to take down a flag that has the emblem of the Confederacy. The battle flag of the Confederacy that stood for the lynchings, the rapings, the killings, the subjugation of many of our ancestors. And you proudly display that flag. Tupelo, shame on you. We're also asking the city to finally get off its rear end and do what so many citizens have asked you to do, appoint an independent police citizen review board. You claim you want to be so transparent, but how can you police yourselves? How can you police yourselves? And we're going to let the Justice Department know that police department here is just as corrupt as the one in Ferguson. And we're going to ask for the Department of Justice, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, to send down people to review the entire Tupelo Police Department. Because there's corruption in high places, I tell you. There is corruption in high places. And what's been done in the dark is about to come to light. And Mayor Shelton, if you're listening, City Council President, if you're listening, I'm giving you 72 hours to come to grips and come to terms with what I have announced. And we can do this the easy way and resolve our complaints on behalf of the family and avoid a protracted lawsuit. Or we can go the long route, and I can file the lawsuit on behalf of the family, which I will do on Thursday of this week. A federal lawsuit will be filed in federal court on behalf of this family if we have not worked out a settlement for this family. We will allow Charles Foster, the passenger in the vehicle, to come forward at this time. He's in this room. He's going to come forward and tell what happened in those last moments as he appreciates it.
Me and my teammate Ronnie was going to the store to get me a t-shirt for a party, and this officer, I mean, he took a very important person out of my life.
On the, and as to the accusations, I want to make clear that we will not be able to go far into any of the specifics of this particular case because it is an ongoing criminal investigation. However, there were some demands, some assertions, some accusations lodged against the City of Tupelo and the City of Tupelo Police Department, such as racial profiling, quota system, corruption, those sort of things. It is ridiculous to make those charges. We have policies and procedures in place, and our department is a good department that has been involved in a tragic event here in the city. Got a long history in the City of Tupelo of racial harmony, and back to the 1960s where integration occurred without any incident. I was in school when that happened here, and we've had a great community. And this, many of the, I don't know that you would call them accusations. I would more call them inflammations, okay, or were reckless and endanger not only the peace of the community, but the lives of the people that are involved. In responding to the not releasing the identity of the officer or officers in question. The last week, I'm sure that everyone knows or is kept up on social media. That's one of the things that one of the places that there is information, and it's mostly disinformation. That there were death threats against whoever the officer was that was doing this, and and with that said, the comments are inflammatory. Let's try our case either in civil court or in criminal court. Let's don't try it on the media. There is such a thing called the rules of ethics of lawyers. These rules would prevent statements, many of the statements that were made in the press conference today, from being made. And the reason that is it goes to the investigation that's ongoing in a criminal case. In a civil case, some of the things that are being asked for would not be admissible in a criminal case. I am upset at that the profession or this process brings attorneys into bad light, the profession into bad light, by endangering the harmony of a community. And we will get justice. We will get to the truth.
All right. Well, as to the list of demands and basically the 72-hour timeline or 72-hour limit for either the officer to be fired and charged criminally or the police chief to resign.
There is due process for everyone, and if this officer or any other officer is charged with a crime, then there's due process there, and we're not to that point. That would be a classic civil rights claim of employment practices that we could not at this point fire the chief or fire this officer or whatever, because we don't know the outcome of the investigation. And to suggest that we do that is premature. And again, it's just pretrial publicity, and it's reckless.
What about the flag issue? He kept bringing the flag up. What are your thoughts on all that?
That's just another. That's an issue that is not germane to this particular investigation and this particular incident. Down there.
So do you feel that the Thursday at 3 deadline will come and pass without any action from the city?
I can't respond to that. I won't respond to that.
Okay.
I know that some of those demands are of a civil litigation nature, or a broader political or social nature, and during an ongoing criminal investigation, that would certainly prejudice the ongoing criminal investigation. Not only the accused, but also the likelihood that we can have a fair trial ultimately if it comes to that.